Hey gang, so today's another sponsored video by GEEONE, and they have sent something very unique. It is the Rum by Rogue. And in fact, it's by Rogue, but it's actually a collaboration with Rogue and Seki. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I hope so. This thing, this is pretty wild. It is heavy, but it's actually cool, and for the first time ever, this is one of those fidgets where it is as much fun figuring out how to take apart as it is playing with it. There's some pretty neat steps in here. I actually had to reach out to my friend Osmond at Daily Dose of Fidgets to figure out step one. He figured out step one. I figured out the other couple steps, and we've been going back and forth because this is almost like those little escape rooms in a bottle. It's the Rum. Let's go. Okay, so here is the Rum bottle. I have to say, this is probably the most unique, or one of the most unique sliders, fidget toys I have ever gotten. Almost to the point where when you get something like this, you're not even sure how you would use it. It's kind of hard to picture using it. But then you of course start to play with it, and it's like, oh, I get it. Just gonna do this over and over again. But it is surprisingly fun doing that over and over again. This thing is like a tank. It is heavy. It is solid. It is steel. I'm guessing the Zerk would be lighter. It would be nice. I'd love to have seen this in Zerk, but obviously this is a sponsored item and this is given to me. So listen, can't complain, right? But if you have the money, I would move up. I would go up to the Zerk from the steel, because I'm going to guess the Zerk is probably lighter. And in a case like this, lighter is better if you do plan on holding it. Having said that, the weight is actually quite useful for one special feature this has, and we will get to that in a moment. So let's look at something else first. This came with this amazing pouch. I guess because it's a collaboration between Rogue and Seki, again, I call it Seki. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Now on the back, Seki is first, Rogue is second. I'm not even quite sure the order, or if the order matters. But the pouch has these awesome patches. If you're into patches, you know, you can patch it up, put stuff in there. This is kind of like, it's got the mole straps on it. You can, snap this onto another bag, and it's just a great little EDC pouch. The fact that this comes, oh yeah, look at that, even like a little pocket there. I mean, the fact that this comes with the fidget is crazy. Okay, so the Rum. Now, on its own, it's pretty simple, right? Just push the neck down, push the button, out it comes. It's got really nice detailing on the label. The cap is very cool, and I'll show you why in a minute. And we've got this really cool kind of engraved label on the back. Again, have I talked about how heavy this thing is? It is solid. I do like I do like the sort of the feel of something heavy like this of steel. It feels good in your hand. And let's talk about why heavy is good in this particular case. So with the Rum, you get the typical things. You get some stickers, you get some stuff. I showed it in the unboxing short. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. But you also get these. Now, the springs, from what I've seen, some of these springs have a different strength to them. So you kind of get a slightly different feel and a different sound, and that's great. What confused me were these. When I saw these, I had no idea what they were, but it made sense, because with the Rum, you can take off the cap, and there's a spot here for a spinner. Now, when I first got this, like many other people, I opened up my spinner because I wanted to try it. and there was a little hole in the neck of the bottle. And I thought, oh, cool. So, I've got my thread and my button. This just goes on top, and then I put it, and then wait, what? It doesn't reach. And I was trying, man. I reached out to Osman. I'm like, dude, have you figured this out? He's like, I have no idea. Maybe it's for different size bearings. We could not figure this out until I realized these are post extensions. So what you do, I'll just dump them all out here for a minute. So we get the button, female side up, take our little post extension tool here, and we basically slide it on. So now the female side of the button has its own little post. And as you can see, that'll fit right in here now. So we just run the button back through our spinner and attach. And now we've got this pretty cool desktop spinner. And I forgot too, there's these little washers. I haven't quite figured out where to put those in, but I'm going to guess those go in between the spinner post and here. You can figure that part out yourself. But so this is where the weight comes in handy, because this thing will not tip over, or at least not easily. So if you're kind of fidgeting on your desk, and you just want to put it down, then having the weight is actually very helpful. And this will fit, I think, pretty much any spinner. Boom. Now, if you're wondering about this, I've got a review to this guy. This is the Paladin right up here. This is also a GEEONE sponsored item. So let's take this apart. Now, sometimes this little post gets kind of jammed in here, so I'm going to take that apart later. Let's clean everything up, because we are now going to disassemble our rum bottle. Now, the thing about the rum bottle, when I first got it, I swear I felt like an idiot for a good long while. My family and I, we love escape rooms. We have been to everyone in our city. We typically, we're at the point where we're kind of in the top whatever percentage in terms of finishing. We've gotten really good at it. So this to me was a really fun mystery. And I was like, I am going to figure this out. For the life of me, I could not figure it out. The only thing I knew was that this bottom piece comes off, right? Bottom piece comes off. How do you get in here? I know you must get in here because there are springs. So I couldn't figure it out. I reached out to Osman at Daily Dose of Fidgets, and he said, well, I know this part comes off, this label. I had no idea this thing came off. So if you reach in with your finger, it's held magnetically. This is beautiful. So we've got, let's brand up. So now we have this, right? We're looking at this here. Now inside, I noticed a bar, which you may be able to see right in there. Maybe it's a little clear on that side. So there's a bar in here, a pin. When you push the button, that pin falls out. Now we're into the puzzle. Then the front label comes out. And there's a spring inside here. A little tough to see, but we open this up. Our neck comes out. There's a little spring. And here is our big chunky spring inside. Big chunky spring. I'm sure the closed caption will have fun with that one. So this is the disassembled rum bottle. I mean, look at that. That is quite the setup here. You do end up feeling like a spy putting together something. So the only thing I have not really been able to figure out is why this post, because you can assemble or disassemble with this in or out, and it does not seem to hold anything together. It does I will say, actually, that's not true. With the post in, the spring does slide up and down there properly, but I can't understand why it can come out. Like, I don't know why this part can be disassembled. So let's look. Let's put this together with this bottom piece on and see if it makes a difference. So the first thing you have to do is we have our bottle, right? We can actually see along here ridges, and this is what this little bar is for, this pin. So that sits along here and it locks, right? And this label, oh, I'm gonna destroy this, but in terms of trying to show it properly. But what happens is when you press on the label, it presses the bar forward. See that? So it presses the bar, and then the spring underneath the neck shoots it up. So these are always lined up. I really hope I demonstrated that properly for you. So what we have to start with is our spring, like that. Now, it doesn't really matter if you place it in properly at first, because we can kind of see it from inside here. All right. So the spring is on top of the bar here, and then we push this down. So now right away, we have this. Now be careful. Do not let this go, because this will go flying. This becomes like a pretty good rocket. Okay. So we have this part. Now inside here, if you see through this piece, the slot is a hole on the inside. See that hole in there? Let me get this back. So that hole is where the label sits. So all we have to do is put this spring into the label first, okay? Because then the bar goes through the label. So then as we're, the whole mechanism here is then those little notches I showed you run alongside this bar. So then as you push this forward, it kind of lets it jump a notch. But you can't obviously push this pin in yet. All right. I've given the spring a little push just inside the hole so that it sort of sits while I'm doing this. There we go. And then hopefully I can line up my post and we should be good. There we go. So with the pin inserted through the holes in the post, everything is happy. And then and so what this does is this holds the pin in place, right? That way the pin can't slide out. And that's it. So again, you can swap out the springs, different strengths and stuff. I'm not really sure if there's a difference. There's supposed to be. I just haven't really tried it yet. I'll let you guys do that. You try it and let me know in the comments. So that is the rum. Very, very cool, very unique, kind of a conversation piece, to be honest, because people look at this and go, what the hell is that? And then you go, oh, you mean this? And then they get it. All right, gang. Thanks for watching.